Thank you for tuning in to the Helium Radio Network. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
Welcome to the Insurance Sucks podcast. Yeah, we know it sucks, but you have to buy it, and you probably don't have the smarts to figure out what you need or where to find it. That's why you should listen to Eric and Daryl, brought to you by QuoteSavage.com.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Insurance Sucks. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Remmel, joined by
Daryl Stidham with iInsure.
And we're broadcasting from the new iInsure studios here in 2021. And we're broadcasting from lovely Florida. I know the rest of the country is currently freezing.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Snow. And a lot of folks out there are cold right now, but sorry for your bad luck, but we're enjoying some nice cool weather. It's in the 50s and 60s here in Florida today. Really enjoyable. And today we're going to be talking about really the extreme rate increases and the craziness that's going on with all the rates here for Florida homeowners. We also would like to thank our sponsor, iInsure. If you'd like to find out more or get your own quote for extreme rate increases, that you might be experiencing in Florida, go to their website, iInsurenow.com. And I think we know the guy who owns that. I think he'll give you some good rates.
Yeah. Who's that again? That's me.
Yeah, it's you.
That's me. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. I will do my best to get you the very best rate possible.
Hey, I got to give you kudos, man. I tagged you on a Facebook post recently, and Santa is now considering you for some commercial insurance. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
I am so excited to maybe possibly insure Santa Claus. Like I'm beyond belief. Like it's like a dream come true for me.
Yeah, guys. Unfortunately, it's not the real Santa, but there is a local Santa impersonator here who's interested in commercial insurance for his sleigh. So it's pretty comical. When Daryl says he's going to be insuring Santa, he really means he's going to be insuring Santa.
Wait, it's not real Santa?
No, there's only one. He has helpers all over the world, Daryl. Come on.
Oh, all right. I just figured Santa would be, like the rest of the world, retired in Florida. So my bad.
He does live here. I mean, he is local.
Hey.
So, Daryl, I know it's been a minute since we've done a podcast. We kind of have a pandemic going on and all kinds of craziness, in 2020, and now we're in February of 2021. We're recording the first podcast in what's it been, 8 or 9 months?
Oh, geez, I think we were last time we did this was April last year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of change and transition since then. I mean, we're both virtual. You've relocated your office to another town, and kind of moved on because COVID has impacted your business. It's impacted my business. It's impacted our life. There's been a lot going on in the last year.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's there is not one facet of anybody's life that this hasn't, this pandemic hasn't touched. So if you have been impacted more severely than myself or Eric, I want to go ahead and say, I'm with you. I feel for you. And, it will get better. It has to.
Absolutely. I mean, I know we don't go to politics on this show, but I think with the transition of our presidency and the House and the Senate and seeing a lot of these changes going down, I think there's been some more stability. And I think people are a little, I don't want to say more settled, but not as quick to go with violence as they have been the past year. And they're dispersing vaccines and doing a lot to try to help the community. I know there's still a lot of people suffering, and our heart goes out to you, but I think we're on the mend and we're finally moving in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. With this vaccine, there's hope for everybody. So,
absolutely. Well, back to extreme rate increases. I mean, I know during a pandemic and when money's tight and people are out of work and people are suffering, home insurance increases are the last thing anybody wants.
Yeah, no, agree. And we've kind of hit a perfect storm here in Florida between Hurricane Irma. That was almost 4 years ago, by the way. Wow. Storms all over the country, the fire, believe it or not, the fires in California last year, this current winter storm in Texas, all of that affects the rates in Florida, and people don't know exactly why. But the quick answer is the people that insure the insurance companies insure all the other insurance carriers around the country. and they lost money. Those companies don't like to lose money, so they'll raise their rates. So not only are you getting your rates increased, but so are the insurance carriers having their insurance rates increased. And between that and fraud and really greedy, money grubbing attorneys, I'm not going to hold back because they're one of the biggest drivers of our rates increases here in Florida, which in some cases are going up 25-30% year over year. There's a lot to go over. I do want to start with a Senate bill that's been passed through a committee already, and when our chambers meet again in March, we'll be on the Senate floor for a vote to kind of help. And it addresses the attorney's fees and a lot of other things going on with our homeowners policies, but it's a good start. It's not a fix-all. It's not going to fix things overnight, but it's a good start to kind of get things back under control.
Well, I mean, for those out there that may want to review this or look at it, it's Senate Bill, what do we say, 76?
76. It was put forth by Senator Jeff Brandes from Pinellas County.
And that's on the floor for 2021. So if you're looking for that, obviously look in the current year. And it's interesting, it's about 14 pages. If you have some insomnia and you're looking for some assistance in sleep, go ahead and read it. It'll help.
Yeah,
put me right to sleep when I start reading it. But it does have some interesting, litigation and requirements that they're talking about actually in the bill. And I think it's one of the things that a lot of people overlook or don't think of when it comes to homeowners insurance. A lot of people shop on rates, not on coverage. And unfortunately, like auto insurance as well, people are really just, how can I save the most money? Who can I go with the cheapest? And that might not always be the best coverage or the best idea.
Yeah, not at all. And to that point right now, as far as the homeowners markets go, we're looking at, you have your choice of a handful of carriers that are still willing to write in the state. And then you have our carrier of last resort, Citizens Property Insurance Company. It's state-backed. They have increased their policy pool by 23% this year to date. So that's almost 2 months, and they've already increased their policy pool by 23%. They're expecting to be 63% increase before the end of the year, which they're not supposed to have more policies than anybody else, but that's where we're headed. To point, I quoted a house actually this morning. She's currently paying $1,400 with a private carrier, and I quoted her $881 with Citizens. And when the rates are that much different, what are we supposed to do?
That's a no-brainer. I mean, to be honest with you, that's almost half the bill. That's shocking.
Yeah, and Citizens shouldn't have a rate that low. They've been talking about increasing rates in Citizens, but if we do that, and this has been a report that's been pulled out as well, insurance rates in Florida are going to start affecting property value here in Florida.
How does that work?
So think about it this way. You're going to buy a $250,000 house, right? But the roof is 10 years old. It's in a flood zone. It's slab on grade, so it's not elevated or anything like that. And now you're looking at, a $4,000 bill to insure the home, and then another $3,000 to insure flood. So in that $250,000 home, you're going to spend $7,000 a year on flood insurance.
Wow.
Or on insurance, period. And that can really screw with a mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and then you start to think about what most people don't know if they're not local. A good majority of our area is either on waterfront or in a flood zone.
Yeah.
Because we're at sea level or slightly above in most of the Tampa Bay area. And, we're a peninsula. So we're surrounded by water technically on three sides. And that can be really, and you said that's a $250,000 home?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the average home, we're in a current state of gentrification here. And, as the city, St. Petersburg, Tampa, and surrounding areas become more and more populous, we're getting, I don't know if we're the largest, but in the recent year, we've been the highest growing population of any other state. I don't know if we're still number one, but we've been in the top three for many years. And we're seeing a massive influx of people from New York, California, and other markets where the taxes are too expensive for them to stay. So it makes sense for them to sell their home, come here, and buy a home in Florida. Well, that in turn drives the house prices up, which in turn drives the insurance up. So there isn't an average home price of about $250,000 in the greater Tampa Bay area. I mean, this is just my opinion from what I've seen since I recently purchased a home. I think the average cost of a home is more like $350,000, $400,000, depending on the size.
Yeah, I mean, really, like Pinellas County, for example, I think the average home price is $325,000, $350,000. In Hillsborough County, it's closer to $350,000, $375,000. You're looking at these massive numbers, and the more that we see insurance increase, the less likely people are going to be willing to afford a house, which means home sales will dip, property values will go down, and then we're going to have a little bit of bubble. So everybody's going to start losing money and equity in their homes just because of insurance rates, which is a stupid reason
to
lose equity in your home.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous reason. That's, that is insane to me that's even a case. So I know we're coming up on our first break here, but when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about Florida Senate Bill 76 and what some of the provisions in there are how they're going to affect that and potentially keep our rates down. And I have a question before our break I want you to think about, Daryl.
Right.
So when we come back, you say, that a lot of these insurance companies are dwindling and there's very few options in the state of Florida. So right now, there's a lot of litigation and argument within the government on monopolies, companies like Google and Facebook and all these big conglomerates that are kind of holding a market hostage. So my question to you is, when we come back, do you think we're going to come to that point with an insurance carrier in Florida? Do you think there'll be a monopoly, either state-run with Citizens or another carrier, as more and more people pull out? So you're listening to you're listening to Insurance Sucks, brought to you by iInsure, broadcasting from the iInsure studios here in Florida. And we'll be back after this quick commercial break. And we're back. You're tuned in to Insurance Sucks, broadcast here on the Helium Radio Network, and brought to you by iInsure. Those lovely guys over at iInsure, they'll give you some great quotes on. Daryl, tell us a bit more about that. What is that? Home, auto, life? What do you guys do?
So we do home, auto, life, small business insurance, commercial auto insurance, professional liability insurance, workers' comp, and we can even help you with your financial plan and make sure that you can retire well. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they do everything. I'm not only a co-host and an advocate for iInsure. They insure me personally, my business, my life insurance, and I have nothing but great things to say about them. So I highly recommend iInsure. Give them a check on the internet, iInsurenow.com. Or what's your telephone number, Daryl?
The phone number, it's 813-600-5900. Again, 813-600-5900. And I appreciate that, Eric. I take pride in what I do, so thank you so much.
No, we love it. We're actually talking about more insurance now, so you're
all right.
You're with me for life, So
I love it. So you asked me a question before break.
Yeah, about, do you think insurance companies are going to be, in that monopoly status here in the near future?
I think that our current home insurance carriers in Florida, they won't go out of business. But I think by the third or fourth quarter of 2021, we will see where instead of having the 4 dozen options we have now, we might have 2 or 3, where Citizens would be the primary carrier for almost everybody in the state.
Do you think that as we start to slim and get down to those carriers, do you think then we're pretty much going to be like in a rate lock because they can charge whatever they want and we just have to take it?
So they can't charge whatever they want. That's one of the kind of the better things about insurance is that it is state regulated. So they have to file their rate increases with the state, and that's got to be approved. For example, I know that one company last year filed for a 25% rate increase. They were approved for 15%. So it's up to the state and what they approve, and the numbers have to be actuarially sound, which means they have to make sense to someone that's much smarter than I am. And we'll see. Citizens is capped at 7.5% rate increases year over year, but I hear talk of them trying to increase that limit to make them more competitive. So we'll find out. But in reality, we're going to be down to one or two carriers probably before the end of the year. And it'll be like what it was in 2006, 2007, 2008, before I got into the industry after those horrible hurricane seasons in 04 and 05.
Now, are we the only state like that, or other states like that when it comes to homeowners?
Louisiana's kind of difficult, but for their own other reasons, mostly because of hurricane losses. But we're kind of in our own pot, if you will, for home insurance because of our unique lawsuit system and litigation, as to why it was one of the big drivers for our rates.
Well, I think we're going to talk more about that in an upcoming show, but it's interesting to find out more and more as we go along about how the insurance system works here and the ins and outs. And, there's something to think about. Like, even if you're not in the area and you're listening to this podcast thinking about relocating to Florida, which a lot of people are doing right now, insurance is something that's really important. A lot of people don't think about the cost associated with that when they're looking at moving here.
No, not at all. They're oh, look at this great $400,000 house. Yeah, but that house has a 25-year-old roof, which is uninsurable in Florida, by the way. And this, it's got this problem, but it's not a big deal. Well, it is to our insurance markets, and I think Senate Bill 76 here really kind of helps us with the litigation part of it.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about Senate Bill 76 and how that works.
So one of the big things and what they're trying to do is limit what insurance carriers are responsible for as far as roof replacement. And why that's a big deal is twofold. One, we have guys that knock on doors in neighborhoods. That's their job. And they tell the homeowner that we can get your roof replaced for just the deductible on your home insurance, and we'll get you a free roof. Now, roofs here in Florida on my house would be $14,000 for a new roof. And that's only for 1,200 square feet. It's nothing. It's crazy. So people are jumping at the bit to do this. The problem is those roofs don't need to be replaced. There's no signs of leaking inside. There's nothing actually wrong with the roof. It's got some wear and tear, but that's normal. And so people are using their insurance as a maintenance plan and not an insurance policy. And so homeowners, if that contractor goes out, knocks on your door, says, we'll replace your roof, great, let's do it. The insurance carrier will be like, no, there's no damage to the roof. Then the contractor will hire an attorney, sue the insurance carrier, and they'll get the roof paid. And then this $14,000 roof will get paid. The contractor gets paid, and then the attorney will collect fees, usually 7 to 10 times higher than what they actually collect for the contractor. So that $14,000 roof claim has now jumped into $100,000 for legal fees.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking. I didn't even know that kind of, I lack of a better term, scam existed.
Yeah. The average attorney fees collected on a home insurance lawsuit is 7.5 times what is actually paid on the claim.
Jeez. That's shocking. I mean, and that right there explains why our rates are going up.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest reasons. In fact, there's an article 6 or 8 weeks ago, and I couldn't find it for the show. But one attorney got paid $850,000 on a $17,000 claim.
Holy crap! Are you kidding me? I mean, how many roofs is that?
Yeah, I mean it's insane, right? It's
like 30
crazy.
roofs. God, that's insane.
So what this bill does is it restructures how attorneys can recover fees and kind of reduces that multiplier, so they're not making 10 times what the homeowner is making or what the contractor is making on this lawsuit. It also lays out that if your roof is 10 years or older, that you will not get full replacement value for that roof if there was to be a claim, which sounds awful for the consumer, and it's not great for the consumer, but it keeps these guys from door knocking and saying, "Hey, we'll replace your roof for the deductible." Well, that's not gonna be true anymore.
Yeah, and on a newer roof, if the homeowner spends some money and spends some value on it, I mean, if you get a metal roof, they're projected to last 30 to 50 years. If you get some of the new higher end roofing products, even shingles, those are 20-year warranty now. I mean, so a homeowner is still going to be good on the lifetime of their roof unless they've been there as an older home or they've recently purchased. But newer builds or newer remodels, they're going to see the value. So the homeowner is still, I don't think, in that bad of a position. But I think you're right. I think it'll cut down a lot of the door knocking.
Yeah, and we'll talk about age of roof real fast. The carriers that are left in Florida that are writing, most of them have a 10-year limit on roof age.
So regardless of whether it's a new, high-end roof that could last 50 years, if it's older than 10 years, they're changing how they're writing policy on it.
Yes, or they won't write it at all.
Interesting. Okay, makes sense.
And I actually have one carrier. I love this. This is just driving me crazy. It's actually the carrier I'm about to move you to, believe it or not. Hopefully
it's good, not bad.
Well, it's good for you, but they won't write a roof on a home that is 5 years or older, no matter the material. So it could be concrete, tile, clay, tile, shingle, rolled bitumen, whatever the case may be. If it's older than 5 years, they won't touch it.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, the restrictions that carriers are placing on things, like, it's been known for over 16 years that if you're in Miami-Dade County, Broward County, or Palm Beach County, you have Citizens. That's pretty much going to be your home insurance carrier, right? Well, we are moving into the area now with Seminole County, Orange County, Lake County, Osceola County, the solo area of the state. That's what they call it, where we're down to pretty much Citizens at this point as well. But that's a different thing. It's actually water claims, burst pipes, cheap construction, things like that. Carriers are backing out because water claims are very, very expensive.
Yeah. It amazes me so one of the things that I always thought was funny, and I guess now that I'm older, it not as funny to me, is how all these older homes have in Pinellas County, for example, since since 2008, since the market crashed and it bounced back. I'll give you a case in point. My father, who's now since passed, had a home on the water in Pinellas County. Bought it in the early 80s, like 82, I think, is when he purchased the house, somewhere around there. And at that point, it was, I don't know, just over two. It was like, let's call it between $200,000 and $250,000. I don't remember the exact price. And he always got murdered on flood insurance, what he thought was high rates. Well, after 2008, the house was appraised at $1.8 million. So after we sold it and after he passed and sold the home, the insurance rates quadrupled, if not more, because now the home value had quadrupled. They're still in the water, but the home was also built in 52, 53. So everything on the house needed to be updated anyway. The roof was old, the storm prevention, hurricane prevention, window updates, all that kind of stuff. So it's always been kind of comical to me. There are all these people moving here buying houses, but when they buy the house because it's valued so much more, they're spending triple the insurance, and nobody thinks about that.
No, not at all. And for the realtors and mortgage people listening out there, please keep in mind, insurance doesn't insure the dirt. So the lot may be worth $500,000, but the home might still be worth $250,000, and that's where we're going to write the policy.
That's exactly it. Like in his situation, he bought a $200,000 home 40 years ago, give or take, in the 80s, and the dirt is worth millions of dollars because he's got 100 foot of seawall on the water, but the house hasn't gone up in value at all. It's still a $200,000, 50-year-old house.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one reason why you need to make sure you have an insurance agent that knows what the hell they're doing. Right. Because I've seen it before. Some agents will write $1 million policy on a home would only cost $400,000 to rebuild. So they're over-insuring, their client because the mortgage company wanted it insured to the value of the loan. Well, that's not how we do things.
And the client thinking, wow, I've got $1 million of coverage. This is great.
Yeah, but they'll never recover that. And they're paying for, basically they're paying double what they should be paying because their insurance agent didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's great that you have these things and you have, ideas for like tips and discounts and different things, from your experience as being an insurance agent and just from what you've seen in the state of Florida. And I think it's great that you're sharing things like, Senate Bill 76. I'd never heard of it until you want to talk about it on the show today. And once I read it, I found it pretty interesting because I didn't even know that scam or whatever you want to call it existed, where people literally go door knocking trying to get people to replace their roofs under the insurance policy. That's insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to be such a problem that I actually will call out people I see doing it on Facebook. And I blast them because they're hurting. They think they're helping consumers, but they're hurting every consumer in the state.
Well, yeah, and it's so folks like me who are law-abiding citizens who follow the rules and, don't play in the gray. It's either black or white, and you stay within the lines that you're supposed to and do things legally and the correct way and the ethically and moral, the moral proper way to do things, which I kind of pride myself on, is always playing by the rules. It affects people like me because I'm over here paying my bills normally, not filing any false claims, and my rates are going up for no reason.
Yep.
Just because my neighbor wants to try to, basically beat the system and get a free roof.
Yep. My home insurance went up $800.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You should move out here to the country, where we have cows and horses. Things are cheaper.
Nah, I like where I'm at, but it was a 30% increase year over year. It's insane.
That's a little insane. Honestly, we actually bought a house pre-pandemic and pre-children, and we're thinking like, oh, this will be great. This is our retirement home. And then surprise, we have kids, and pandemic happens and we both have home offices and life has changed, forever for us. And we're thinking, wow, we really need to upgrade and get a bigger house because we're out of room. We don't have any extra rooms because they're all offices and everything. So we've been home shopping, looking at new houses. And to be completely honest with you, we're shocked at what our taxes and our insurances are going to go up to get a bigger house. And we're like, well, maybe we'll stay here.
We're stuck. But I do have some tips on how you can save on your home insurance, but we're going to do that in the next episode. So,
well, I think we're at that time. So, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Insurance Sucks, brought to you by our lovely folks at iInsure, based in Tampa, Florida. Now, Daryl, for everybody listening who might be out of the Florida area, can you help them with insurance, or do they have to be in Florida?
The people I help they need to be in Florida. However, if you reach out to me and you're in a state that I don't write insurance in, I can find you a very honest, reputable agent that I trust. That we'll be more than happy to help you out and check everything over for you.
Awesome. So again, check out their website, iInsurenow.com. So the letter I, not EYE, not any weird spellings, just letter I, insurenow.com. Or give them a call at, would you say 813?
It's 813-600-5900.
And we'll catch you on another episode of Insurance Sucks. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Helium Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and should not be construed in any way as advice from Helium Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, and editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the express written consent of Helium Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.